Broadcasting from the iHeartMedia studios in Syracuse, New York, this is Craft Brewed Radio with your hosts, Ronnie Miller and Eric Sleeper.
Welcome to episode 2 of Craft Brewed Radio. With me, as always, Mr. Eric Sleeper. How you doing?
What is shaking, Ronnie Miller? How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. I had a great week. A little sick, as you can tell by the nasal thing. I know you were a little sick last episode.
Yeah, and I could tell Ronnie Miller was sick because of the lack of activity on Untapped. I could tell, okay, there's something wrong with Ronnie Miller.
Yeah, but I'm sitting by myself.
If it's a Saturday and there's not at least 5 check-ins from Ronnie Miller, there's something drastically wrong.
Yeah,
so.
it happens, man. And, you know, when you're sick, it's really, really tough because it's just
you can't
so
taste
tough.
beer, which is the worst part about being sick.
Well, that's when you kind of realize when you got a little hobby going there, and that's kind of what's been going on with me. So, but anyways, a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Episode 2 with beer news, we're going to talk about the Great Lakes Brewing Company, Cigar City, kind of an InBev situation there. Got a great quick interview with some awesome dudes from the Orange Vessel Company. They've come up with one hell of a sexy growler, and we talked to them early last week, so that'll be good. Also on our beer radar, I've got some new brews from Troegs in Sierra Nevada, and some new brews to us, some tasty offerings from Baird and Stone, and it's just I don't know. It's so much fun to kind of keep chasing these beers, man.
Yeah.
It's nonstop.
Absolutely. Always got something on the beer radar. We try to limit it down to just one, but there's always, we always got a million things going on.
What are you drinking right now?
I am drinking the He Said, the 21st Amendment and Elysian collab here. It's a Belgian-style triple. A non-monk triple. I am reducing myself to drinking non-Trappist.
You're so spoiled.
Triples. No.
So spoiled.
It actually, I had no idea what to expect with this, and it is very, very nice. I'm relatively new, like I mentioned in the last episode, to Belgian beer in general, and this is really nice. Lots of spice in this. That's kind of what separates it apart from some of the other triples that I've had. You get a lot of that pumpkin-y, dessert-y type qualities.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
I actually got these from a brew fest I went to, and the person was kind of handing these cans out. I'm like, dude, hook me up. So what they ended up doing was they sold, I'll show the video right now. So they sold a white and they sold a dark. I'm drinking the He Said Baltic-style porter, lager brewed with pumpkin and spices. So these guys got together. One wanted to brew a dark, the other wanted to brew a light, and the reaction is a dark and a light, 2-pack, 2 of each kind, and it's just kind of a tasty beer. I've always just there's a little funkiness going on.
Yeah, that's you gave me a sip of that before we went on the air, and that was there's some things going on in that porter, man. I don't know if that's quite my cup of beer, but there's like a funkiness to it with the yams. They make it with yams or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of like Thanksgiving gone weird in your mouth there.
It's pretty good, man.
Yeah,
I really. It says it's brewed with Vietnamese cinnamon and ground caraway, and maybe that's where the funkiness is coming. Caraway seeds, a little
caraway seeds in beer, and
they do rise all the time.
That's true, but there's something kind of. It wasn't necessarily my favorite, but I'm glad I tried it, I guess. Oh. But this triple is really nice. This triple is really, really, really nice. I like this a lot.
Very glad to hear that.
Love 21st Amendment, and I love Elysian, even though they are bowing at the feet of their corporate masters now.
Let's hit it.
All right.
Now it's time to check the temperature of the beer world, and we're sticking the thermometer in deep. It's time for beer news.
What do you got, dude?
Good old beer news. Some beer news from Great Lakes Brewing Company. They are revamping their art for all of their year-round and seasonals. They're coming out with a summer or spring mix pack.
Wow.
With a session IPA.
Oh, that's nice.
A Kolsch, a Belgian single, a Belgian wit, and the names will be announced soon. And this package won't have the new refreshed look just yet. That'll come out in May, but they are revamping the art. And we've posted this on our Facebook and Twitter feeds. It's been getting the rounds on the internet. Their new artwork. I've always liked the Great Lakes art. I like the photogenic kind of portrait style, if you will, with a little bit of a story on there. Ronnie, I know you're not crazy about having pictures on beer and all this kind of crazy stuff. They redid it, so it looks like it's out of a children's book now. It's a lot softer. They got rid of some of the harder edges. It's a little clip-arty. It's a little softer. I guess I appreciate change. I'm not opposed to change, but I kind of like the old Great Great Lakes are. But the good part is this isn't a huge departure or anything. They could put whatever they want in the beer. I don't care. I like it anyways. But I thought it was just it feels soft. It doesn't feel aggressive, and I like the old artwork too. So maybe I'm one of the old guys out on his front porch complaining about, get off my lawn, don't change my Great Lakes labels. No.
Well, that's the thing. When they announced it, and they announced it, I don't know, just a few months ago that they were coming out with new labels and new branding and stuff. The Great Lakes Brewing Company logo really hasn't changed that much, but I kind of like the collage style. I think that's neat. They're very intricate. With Burning River, there was a couple of newspaper ads, or articles that were scattered throughout the artwork. That's tiny, but noticeable, unnoticeable, kind of maybe like subtle hints at what's going on.
Yep.
Very curious to see the rest of the fleet, though. Lake Erie Monster.
The new seasonal that's coming out in May from Great Lakes is the Alberta Clipper Porter.
Oh, nice.
And again, that won't have the new labeling, but still another porter from Great Lakes. It's
good.
So can't complain.
The Alberta Clipper is what they refer to as their Canadian, like, how in Syracuse we get lake effect snow off Lake Ontario? Well, theirs is from Alberta. That's how that goes.
It's like a weather system meteorology thing. Yeah, I took meteorology in college, and I passed it. But
Barely.
that was about it. But yeah, thank you for the weather lesson on the Alberta Clipper. But I'm still Edmund Fitzgerald. I call it Eddie Fitz because I'm cool. Eddie Fitz is one of my favorite porters, so I'm sure they're not going to screw that up too bad. The Alberta Clipper looks interesting.
Yeah,
then they're making an American wheat. I'm not crazy about wheat beers. I know.
I love wheat beers.
Of course. See that you're the yin to my yang. This is why we do a show together.
Yeah, but that was my gateway, man. I mean, that was my gateway beer.
Yeah. So it was like, okay.
It was Omegang's Witta. Yeah, that was my kind of gateway, and it was soapy and banana-y, and I've always just kind of been a big fan of it. But
the other news that was making the rounds on the forums, and this isn't an official announcement. The only thing that's happening with Cigar City that we know of so far is that people from InBev or Anheuser-Busch are interested in buying Cigar City, just like I'm sure they're interested in buying every other craft brewery out there. So, but that story's getting a lot of traction right now across the internet. And, it's already starting debates, people going back and forth. Oh, here goes another one. And it's, InBev's plan for world domination and all that kind of stuff. But the only thing that's really happened so far is that Cigar City has been reached out to by InBev. They're having some type of discussion. There hasn't been a proposal or anything like that. And, of course, InBev isn't going to discuss any murders or inquisitions or mergers and acquisitions.
I see what you see there.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
I didn't know that was coming.
I'm so slick. I just worked it right in there. So that's the deal with that. So Cigar City, of the many breweries, I'm sure that could potentially be bought by InBev, but they're not. I think people kind of look at it on the internet. Oh, Cigar City's getting bought. No, just slow it down a little bit. I hate to say it because I kind of contradict myself. If they did get bought and they somehow were able to get some of that Jai Alai and some of those other Cigar City beers up here, I would still complain about it, but I'd be a happy person doing it.
I have to admit, there is a great website. This brings up a good point. I was actually looking for Jai Alai over the summer, and the only reason why I knew I could find it is because there's a website called seekabrew.com. It's fairly up to date, but I found out that yes, Cigar City actually does distribute to the state of New York. You can also find out, who else, gets distributed. That's kind of what it is. Like, okay, what breweries distribute in your state? And it breaks it down by, you can compare states too. So say you're going to meet, Uncle Mike in Michigan. Well, find out what's local to Michigan, and you can kind of get the stuff you can't get in your state. Again, that's seekabrew.com, and I did end up getting Florida Cracker and Revolution IPA, which was fantastic from Cigar City.
Yeah.
So,
it was it the Revolution or was it the Invasion Pale Ale?
That's what it was. Why did I think it was the Revolution?
I knew it. I saw it. I knew you were unsure of it. Revolution, you're thinking of
Anti-hero.
Anti-hero from a different from Revolution.
From Revolution Brewing.
No, yeah, because you hooked me up. You hooked me up with this. This is
Yeah.
when we started our beer bromance together. One of the many times. This is how you buttered me up for later things.
Hey.
You hooked me up with some Florida Cracker, which was it was all right. And then the Invasion Pale Ale, it was. I think I traded you a Bourbon County Stout for those two beers, just for. I know. I kind of got the. So you kind of jobbed me on that one, man.
Well, I didn't mean to. I was kind of hoping our friendship means a little more than a crappy trade. We're trading baseball cards as kids. Like, I'll give you Wade Boggs if you give me Mark McGuire.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that fair, though. That's like a comparable
I know.
Thing. So, yeah. So now that I think about it, Ronnie, you kind of jobbed me on that one. So I'm going to have to set you up. I'm going to have to, get some beer that you're unfamiliar with and just talk it up. Oh, dude, you got to try this. This is so good. It's called King Cobra. Dude, it's a malt liquor. It's really good. I need you to trade me two big bottles of Pliny for it. And a couple other things. Yeah,
Nobody
so
will ever
I'm going
know.
to set you up, and I'm going to get you back for that one. But no, it was nice having Cigar City. In all seriousness, I actually do appreciate the trade because we don't get those beers. Any beers that we can't get here locally, I want, of course, naturally. So to be able to try 2 Cigar City beers was pretty cool. And I am willing to give up a great beer like Bourbon County Stout just so I can try 2 beers that are not readily available here.
That's awesome.
Just so I can go to the bars and say, "Hey, have you ever had Invasion Pale Ale?" I have. It was awesome.
Traded a Bourbon County Stout for it.
Yeah.
Got hosed, man.
You ever had Florida Cracker? Oh, I had it. Wasn't that good, but I traded for it. You haven't had it. No, I actually don't do that. So.
You got any titters here? What's coming out with Stone?
Stone Old Guardian Extra Hoppy. It is their barley wine. Old Guardian. I've had it before, and I remember it being. It kind of does teeter on the border of a double IPA / barley wine. It's supposedly a barley wine, but I guess now they're making an extra hoppy edition. So look for that at your local bottle shops. I don't have a whole lot of information other than it's a barley wine with more hops. Boom. There you go. There's your hard-hitting news for the day with Stone Old Guardian Extra Hoppy coming out Monday. Well, I guess it'll have some hops.
A little bit of hops there.
Got some hops, Old Guardian.
Let's get to the interview. We talked to 2 great guys, Rob and Steve from Orange Vessel Company last week. We did pre-record the interview, and here's how it went.
Well, in the studio right now, I've got Steve Tiroli and Rob Englert of Orange Vessel Company. Gentlemen, welcome to Craft Brewed Radio. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks for having us on.
Well,
yeah, fantastic.
Eric and I saw an article on Syracuse.com it was yesterday, about this amazing vessel, this new growler that you guys kind of came up with. And it's unlike any growler I've ever seen. Eric,
Ronnie has seen a lot of growlers.
I've seen way too many growlers.
A lot of growlers.
It's too many. But what is so, obviously it looks special. But tell me about the functionality. How did you guys come up with this design? And basically, it's stoneware, correct?
It is. Yeah. We wanted to really serve, I guess, the craft beer industry. So we wanted to create a craft growler for craft beer.
Love it.
And Rob will tell you a little bit more about the design. He's our...
Yeah, I'm an industrial designer, product designer.
No kidding.
I design products for, lots of different companies. I'm a consultant, so my clients are like Chobani, Bose, Rigid Tools.
Wow.
So big variety. But Steve came to me about, 6-7 months ago and had this idea. Hey, I want to start this business. I want to create a growler, and I want to call it Orange Vessel. And I'm like, okay. Well, then we really had to think about if we want to create this iconic designed object that is personifies orange. We really started looking at how can we make this part of the brand. We wanted this to be the flagship for the brand itself, Orange. And so that's the main reason for the the unique handle style. So that's basically an O. It's like an O that you put 2 fingers in to hold it.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, your website is super clean, by the way. The orangevessel.com, correct?
Yep.
Very cool. And I love going through the stories about how many designs you guys went through. There was a sketchbook there with it looked like 50 or 60 different designs. From the different handle sizes to what you guys were going to do on top as far as... Now, what I always say it's the Grolsch style top, but what do they actually call it?
Flip top, swing top.
Swing top is
Swing
probably-
rubber top. Okay.
And what was it? I'm curious. What was it about? I read on your website that you had some experiences with growlers, and we've all run it across a myriad of different types, whether it's the gas station type or really nice from a brewery type growler. What was it about the current scene in the growler world that made you say, we're going to do this better and we're going to do that better? Were you getting like skunky beer, or what's the deal?
A couple different things. When it comes to growlers, there's not going to be huge differentiation between glass and ceramic, and you got some stainless steel ones coming out now. They're all going to hold pretty well for about 5 days, 7. Maybe you'll even get 2 weeks out of them if you don't open it. Once you open it, you got to drink it. These will hold better, but you still got to drink it within 24, 48 hours, or else that's going to go flat on you. Now,
yes,
the beautiful thing about these, no light penetration, and that makes for skunky beer. And stoneware too, especially this, its walls are nice and thick. Keeps it colder longer. If you're traveling with it or whatever.
Yeah, summertime.
No.
Bringing it out to the picnic table or something like that,
That's, I never would even thought of that. especially with glass penetrating. I have 2 different growlers here in studio. One's from Victory, and the other one is from, it was called Double Barrel Brewing, but now it's called Eastwood Brewing. But I've always loved the pewter handle. that's kind of like your manly, this is cool. The whatever. But again, you can see right through it. I remember bringing home a growler full of this beer from Victory called Mad King, and as soon as I got it home, it was just gone. And this is like, I don't know, was it 2-3 hour drive? Granted, it was during the springtime, so it wasn't too hot, but I'm like, man, what a bummer. I just wasted basically like $25 on the growler and on the beer inside, so it was just such a bummer. Very cool shape and design. Yep. And I remember Empire Brewing here locally used to do the pewter handles, and they just look fantastic. But Eric mentioned earlier with the gas station ones, it's literally you can barely fit your fingers in the 2 holes, and it's like the screw top, and it's like, well, you pray to God that this thing lasts as long as it can without the light penetrating. Now, this is. The colors, I know you guys do a bunch of different colors. Obviously, the orange must be the most popular, especially in Syracuse. Right?
Yeah. Really, it's surprising. We really thought black would be the most popular, but everybody wants the orange one.
No, absolutely. It's one. Can I tell you something? I brought the Victory growler home, and my wife is immediately like, "What the heck is this doing in the fridge?" Because it's this monstrosity, right? If I brought home the orange vessel growler, she'd want to keep it on the freaking countertop, because it's almost like this beautiful chic, just clean line. It's just
you might be able to pass it off as orange juice or something.
That's true for the kiddies, right?
Something like that.
That's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's kind of a sneaky way.
But I know that Eric has to deal with his wife, and I have to deal with mine. But it's always one of those things where it's like, when it's just easier to deal with a wife with something.
Yeah,
just let it be.
Wait. You mean you need to enjoy the time you have with them, right?
Yes,
of course. All right.
That's what I was getting at. Really,
the balance of beer and life and wives. It's great.
Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Steve and Rob from Orange Vessel Company, founders of the Orange Vessel Company, owners of the Orange Vessel Company, and just, again, make sure you check out their website, orangevessel.com. The one thing I did want to kind of... How many designs did you actually go through? I remember seeing on the website, we're talking 3D printers.
Hundreds, I'd say. Probably hundreds of different concepts.
Ridiculous, right?
Yeah. What happened, Rob went through and did hundreds, and then I came in with this design. And we just said, "Oh, perfect." No, Rob spent tons of time. He's an unbelievable artist, designer, and he kind of kept it quiet. I had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. He's just like, "Steve, I'm working through," and then afterwards, he sent me a 3D rendering, I think, of this shape. I was like, "Oh my goodness, Rob, this is beautiful."
You were in love, right?
Absolutely nailed it. And then just got out all the pieces of paper of the drawings and sketches. I'm like, geez,
it's exhausting. It must have been.
That's the process. We do that process for anytime we're trying to design something. But this one, really, because it's something I really care about, since it's something we're working on together.
Yeah. Seriously.
I care about everything we do, but this one, had a special part in my mind. So I really wanted to make it as good as possible. You needed that iconic look that could stand the test of time. We want something that's going to last, where you're going to see that and you're going to instantly recognize it. It's going to. We're patenting the design, so
Great.
That hopefully will be protected here very shortly.
Well, I was going to say, have you had any breweries yet? I mean, this immediately screams to me something like Dogfish would put their brand on. I mean, they would put their logo on. I'm hoping that breweries will trip over themselves trying to get their logo on something like that. Is that something you guys have been approached yet or considered?
Absolutely, yeah. We're looking at both retail and wholesale. So there's been really, anybody that has taken a look at this has been like, wow, this is.
You just kind of want to make love to it. I don't know what it is. It's the sleek.
We haven't tried that yet.
It kind of looks like a top half of a woman. It's just like this beautiful, clean line. I don't know what it is. I'm just in love. I'm just totally in love.
We've gotten some interest.
That's
so
good.
we're hoping in the near future people will start seeing these at their microbreweries with logo. Where we're actually working with a local shop in town, trying to figure out what is the best way really to customize these. So we've got some options out there.
No, that's great. And it's stoneware. So obviously, is it similar to? I don't want to say it's not shellac. What the heck do they call it in ceramics class?
Glaze.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So that's what it is. It's glazed. And trying to put a logo on something like that definitely must be a very interesting process. But very, very cool.
It is.
Now, it's funny. Eric and I were talking before you guys came in, and Eric wanted to know, we know what you guys, produce and stuff, but...
What do you put in it?
Yeah, what do you personally put in it?
On the website, it says you guys were sitting around drinking beer, and I couldn't help but wonder. I wonder what beer they were drinking.
I think Steve likes the IPAs more than the heavy-duty ones. I mean, I like Belgians. And
see, I'm of your ilk.
So.
Yeah.
I don't discriminate. I like all beers.
I mean, I like them all, too.
I like all beers.
How many ounces is it?
64.
64.
No kidding. Yeah. Beautiful. That's just right on where you need to pass the sharing point, I guess.
Yeah. How's it being received here locally? I mean, you guys, are you finding a boost here locally in Syracuse? Are you getting a lot of orders from out of state, or how have things been shaking out?
We did shops at the fair. Right?
Yep.
Holiday shops at the.
Okay.
Which, it was really sort of the kickoff of the product, and you really sort of proved that people wanted it. We sold a lot at the shops, and it worked well. It was well received.
That was an interesting story in and itself. Trying to get some growlers here actually prior to the shops.
Oh, no kidding.
And,
you need the stock in stock.
Yeah, because it came right down to the wire. Like the first order, and then we sold all these ones, and we had delivered by Christmas. So, we made it with day to spare.
Oh, that's fantastic. Honestly, this is something that is cool enough. I'm a huge fan of Shark Tank. I really think you guys should go and let
Mark Cuban just lampoon you.
Fantastic.
No, not
sure. Talk to us about business terms that we have no idea. What? Wait.
What's your profit? What's your profit?
Yeah.
No, but you know what though? Very, very cool, and it makes my heart sing to know that a cool product like this was made right here in Syracuse.
Absolutely.
That's unbelievable. That from the design to manufacturing. Well, let me ask you this: how from table to getting it, pushed out to the factory. I mean, what's the turnaround? I mean, if you wanted to make one of these, when was the first time, you drew it up and then you sent it out and said, hey, make this for me, and then it got back? I mean, what's the turnaround time?
We went back and forth multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to product design, it's, Rob knows I don't. This is my first time going through it. I mean, you're talking millimeters.
Oh, really?
These tops are actually custom made, so this handle's actually a little longer, so it sits lower on the growler.
Yeah.
So it's actually a nice flat, clean closure, airtight, and we had to really go back and forth with that manufacturer as to what's really going to work. We had this bent out a little farther so you could get your finger under it and actually and it's just the top itself trying to get this consistent. It is an art, it is a science.
Sure.
I mean, we're trying to make something that is very difficult to produce consistently.
Yeah.
So just a lot of
there's a lot of steps involved with actually just making the vessel itself.
Oh, I can imagine.
And there's slip casts that are poured into molds, and and they spend a little time in there, and then they come out of that, and then they're cleaned up, and then they're bisque fired. So they're fired in the kiln once, then they're glazed, then they're fired again, and so and then when that's happening, they also shrink a certain amount. It's like,
Oh, so you must be
so you're dealing with so we have to create the pattern that's bigger, and then that shrink,
Right.
you have to take that into consideration when you're designing it, and so that it holds the right amount of liquids, and so it was a lot of back and forth trying to get it just dialed right in.
That is crazy, and it's something that as a consumer I would never think of, like what actually went into making this.
But so much of it makes sense, though. It's like they're saying, we all drink a lot of beers that people pour their heart and soul into, take a lot of time to make, so it kind of makes sense. I like the angle of, these, why not drink that type of beer out of something that takes a great deal of time and effort?
Yeah, what's your? I saw the slogan on the way. It's craft
beer meet craft growler.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it.
It seems like a natural marriage.
Again, we're talking to Steve and Rob from Orange Vessel Company. Beautiful, beautiful growlers, gentlemen. Thank you again for joining us in studio. And they can buy them online. Anybody can buy them online. OrangeVessel.com.
Absolutely.
You're on Facebook as well.
We are.
Facebook, just search Orange Vessel, and we'll have a whole bunch of. We're going to take some pictures right now, and we'll post them on our Facebook page as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to come in, man.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck with everything.
All right, thanks.
You're listening to Craft Brewed Radio, an iHeart radio station. Check out what the guys are sipping on this week. Follow them on Twitter @Brewed Radio and on Facebook at facebook.com/craftbrewedradio.
A great interview, man. Let's go right into Beer Radar, shall we?
Beer Radar.
Beer Radar.
Oh, Beer Radar has found something.
What's on your radar?
On my Beer Radar this week, it is a year-round release, so that's kind of lame, right? Well, it's from Troegs Brewing in Pennsylvania. They make a year-round release called Jovial. It is a double Belgian-style ale, and I don't think I've ever seen it here locally in Syracuse, but apparently it's a year-round release, and what really sparked this was that I saw Chris Stelz from Beer Geek Nation had untapped this over the course of the weekend and said it was one of the best non-Trappist doubles available in America.
Really?
So, and I give that guy a lot of credence. If he's saying it's really good, I'm going to assume that it's pretty damn good, because I don't think I ever really disagree with that guy a whole heck of a lot. So, Troegs Jovial. If I see that somewhere, I will be jovial, and I will jovially buy it.
Make sure
something
you
like that.
jovially pick me one up.
I will. Yeah, I'll do that.
Beer Radar.
On my Beer Radar, Sierra Nevada Hop Hunter, man. Hop Hunter IPA. I've been a lot of hype around this. The wet hop style 24/7. They do infused hop oil into the beer. Or distilled hop oil. I mean, this just sounds kind of neat, interesting. And this whole beer kind of had a lot to do with the whole Lagunitas Sierra Nevada IPA black logo on their beer bottles and stuff like that. But it sounds really cool. Bittering hops are Magnum and Millennium. Finishing hops, Cascade, Crystal, and Simcoe. It just sounds like a really, really tasty beer. And again, I can't wait to find it. Hopefully it's, relatively priced. I'm probably going to guess around maybe $12, $13 for a
Sierra
sixer.
Nevada is always priced pretty well. I
Yeah.
don't know for whatever reason that is, but they're always priced pretty competitively, if not on the lower end. But yeah, looking forward to that one too. I have to buy it just out of principle because it started such a cluster F on the internet with the people absolutely raging about it. Anything the internet rages about, it gets me excited. So now if I ever see this, I will definitely pick it up without a doubt.
No, that's good.
What beers are new to you? Let's do new brews.
What's your new brew, Eric Sleeper?
My new brew?
Yeah.
My new brew is a collab from Stone, Baird, and Ishii. It is the Japanese Green Tea IPA. They did this in 2011, and then they revisited it again this year, and it blew me away, actually. When I saw a collab with Stone, Green Tea, I thought, okay, this is going to be pretty weird, but it had all of the characteristics that I love in a West Coast IPA. Big, piney hops, but right in the middle of the mouth, you get this really nice herbally green tea note that is just, it's unbelievable. It's not like anything that I've had before. So it was awesome. It really, really was awesome. I was totally blown away.
How'd it go? How is it warmed up? How did you like it? I mean, or did you chug it? I mean,
no,
was it one of those things?
definitely not a chugger. It was a bomber.
Oh,
so
okay.
I kind of set aside a couple of a couple hours in the afternoon, and I probably drank it over the course of an hour or two. But yeah, it was it was a big bottle, but yeah, it got the more it warmed up, the more you got more of the green tea elements, more of that herbal. I'm trying to think of more adjectives to describe it. It's an IPA with the perfect amount of herbal green tea notes that right in the middle of the mouthfeel, and of course it finishes pretty bitter like most of your West Coast IPAs. But yeah, it's something that I was very skeptical when I picked the bottle up.
Sure.
I go, this will be interesting green tea IPA. But I think the way that they pulled it off, the way that they did it, I couldn't imagine it being much better. Because when you think green tea, you don't want a beer that's going to be dominated with green tea flavor, and this isn't that. It's there, but it's there in a herbal way that complements the other hop varieties that they use in the beer. So it was incredible. It was very, very well balanced, very, very well done. And at 10% ABV, this beer drinks like a 7%.
No kidding.
Beer. Like it does not taste like a big beer. I know there's other beers out there, double or triple IPAs, where you can tell it's a big, gigantic beer. This one, it's a little too sessionable, if anything. So
just a little
too sessionable. But you can't. That's not really a complaint, right? That's not a knock on it. It just means that you're brewing big beers in a good way.
That's
there.
good.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of piggyback onto your conversation. Local brewery Empire Brewing Company here in Syracuse is going to be brewing a beer with Chinese tea very soon.
Yeah.
And they've actually had a partnership with a tea manufacturer, or a tea curator, I guess is what you'd call it, over in China. A tea partier. Tea bagger.
I don't know.
They're going to bag the tea.
We just got really political right there.
But I really kind of like the fact that tea is making its way into the beer industry. It's kind of a new flavor for us beer snobs. So.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. But
Yeah.
it does. There's, I mean, God, I don't know the first thing about tea, but the combination with beer and tea, when it's done right, man, it could be done pretty well. So I'm looking forward to whatever Empire ends up doing with that.
Throws their way.
Yeah.
My new brew, it was glorious. Finally had Bell's Hop Slam.
Boom.
Finally. Went to my local bottle shop, saw a sixer of it, $18.90, or what is this? I don't know, $17.99. That's what it was, $17.99 for a six-pack. And, I haven't paid, I think I paid $14.99 for a sixer of grapefruit sculpin. So I was kind of like, oh, God, here's $20 right down the drain. But worth every single penny. Extremely, 6 different hop varieties. Kind of a little boozy, but in a good way.
Yeah. No, it's the booze is not muted in that, in my opinion.
And that's fine.
Yeah, it drinks like a big beer.
No, it does, and it should. And it's so sad because I still have a stuffed up nose, and I tried it only 2 days ago, so I still have that stuffy nose. So I'm waiting for that full effect. Luckily, I only drank one of them. I'm actually going to age one. I'm going to cellar one and see how it turns out. Now, a lot of people are like, hoppy beers, you don't do that. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to see how much it mellows out. Not that I don't think that the punch, from the 6 different varieties of hops is a bad thing. But I just want to see how it mellows out, and I think it'll be worth its while. And the good thing is, I think the selection that we got was brewed only a month ago.
Yeah,
bottled a month ago.
It was very fresh, very fresh.
So that's always good to see. And I loved, the way it finished. As it warmed up, you could really start to get. The booziness kind of subsided, but then the honey, the honey started coming in, giving you a little kiss on the lips.
I was telling you this before. I think what separates that beer is the honey and the sweetness in the malt in that beer. It's that's what it takes Hopslam from being an okay IPA to a really, really, really good IPA or double IPA. It's that honey sweetness that kind of balances out some of that bitterness in that beer. But I thought it was really good. Really, really, really good. Really good this year. Just as good as, if not better than last year.
Oh, so glad. Well, Eric, as always, thank you again for joining me on this wonderful journey that is Craft Brew Radio. Episode 2 is in the books. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
Who knows what we're going to come up with. A lot of stuff is always going on online. We're always checking Facebook. We're always checking Twitter. We're on Twitter at Brewed Radio. And we're also on Facebook. Just look for Craft Brewed Radio. And
check us out.
There'll be a lot of cool stuff on our Facebook to kind of go along. It's almost like a read along with for this podcast. You can kind of see the pictures we're talking about, pictures of the beer we're drinking, pictures of the growlers we just talked about. Stuff like that will be all on Twitter and Facebook.
I post beer porn probably more than I should.
I know, more than pictures of your kid, which is...
I just need to prove that we are actually drinking the beer we say that we are drinking.
Yeah, it's proof. Proof positive.
Yeah.
Thank you again. What a great week.
Absolutely.
You're hanging with Ronnie and Eric on Craft Brewed Radio. You're listening to Craft Brewed Radio, an iHeart radio station. Check out what the guys are sipping on this week. Follow them on Twitter @Brewed Radio and on Facebook at facebook.com/craftbrewed radio.